Very simple exercise, but I just want to just show you something in kind of a shortened form, in a smaller form, so it fits on the camera. But when I'm first trying to teach a dog about coming when called, they need lots of repetition that this is the funnest game in town. Every time they hear their name, it's going to end up in food, and it's just always a good idea to come. So just briefly, I'll show you how I do it on my own here. So I'm going to drop a couple treats there. While he's eating, I'm gonna move away. Teddy, come! Yeah! Teddy, come! Teddy, come! Yes! Teddy, come! Yes! Teddy, come! Yes! Teddy, come! And you'll notice that little by little he starts to go faster and faster and faster. And usually I'm doing this over a lot longer. You know, I'm trying to stay within the camera frame here, but usually I'll be doing this, like I'll be running from one side of the room to the other. I'll be running outside in the yard. Sometimes I'll be hiding, like I'll call his name and then hide behind something and he's gotta find me. You just wanna make it the funnest thing in town to come back and forth. When you've got a couple people in the family, you can have two people ping-ponging back and forth. He comes to one and gets fed, comes to the other and gets fed. There's just tons of repetition where it's always awesome when he gets to the end of wherever, to whoever's calling his name. The other piece about where they stop coming in and being really, kind of being reticent about coming back in is that a lot of times when you call them to come back in, it's kind of the signal that all the fun is over. And so I'll do this 6, 7, 8 times in a day. I'll have the dogs, I'll call one of their names, it doesn't matter who, they'll all come running in. But I'll call one of their names, everybody comes in and I just feed them like crazy, and then they all go outside to continue playing, doing whatever they were doing. It doesn't cost them anything, they don't have to stop doing anything, it's just always great news. They hear me calling for them and they just run like the wind. So that's an important piece. Think about when you are asking him in the beginning, when you're trying to build a good recall, when you're asking him to come, try not to ask him for something that's going to be a bummer. So don't ask him to come in and then put him in his crate, or don't call him and then put him in the bathtub, or something like that. Just a bunch of times during the day, just call him, he comes to you, you feed him, and then let him go about doing whatever he was doing. Because you really want to change his association about what coming means. Instead of coming being like, oh, bummer, it's the end of all the things that I was doing. It's just like, somebody calling you to fold the laundry when you were having a nice time watching a show. You got to leave in the middle of the show and go fold laundry. It's just never going to be fun. But if every time somebody called you and you're in the middle of the show and you go over there and they hand you $100, you'd start to feel different about having that little interruption in your show. You collect your $100, go back to the television show, and it's all good. So same idea. The other thing, here are the things where I feel like the recall starts to break down. Number one is if you're not doing any practice at all. So, once a week, just start doing this back and forth thing, just to remind him how great it is. And then, at least, if you can do it more, all the better. The second place where things start to go wrong is if you call him and you ask him multiple times to come. Teddy, come, Teddy, come, Teddy, come, Teddy, come. At some point he's going to start sort of, tuning that out. So I give him 2 shots. Teddy, come. I give him 15 seconds or so to kind of work through things and give him time to think. If he doesn't come right away, then I'll call him again, second time. Teddy, come. If he doesn't come then I actually go out and get him, okay? And they really get this figured out, which is that it's not gonna be more than twice. They might as well come because it's not gonna go on more than twice. So that's a place where sometimes things start to break down. Again, if you say it multiple times, if you're not doing a little bit of practice, and thirdly, if you're not treating them, in the beginning, I'm treating them every single time, because that's how you're going to get that rocket recall. They know, recalls are built through emotion. And so, for example, dogs that are shocked, their emotion is primarily fear, and they'll rock it over to you because they don't want to get shocked. Obviously, we don't want to do that. What you're trying to build is this emotion of joy, like, oh, I love when they say my name. That's what you're trying to build. So that's the skinny. So make sure you're feeding every single time in the beginning. It'll be the one time that you don't have any food on you, and you call him and he just bullets over to you. You'll be happy that you had that long, rich reinforcement history of getting fed over and over for a fast recall. All right.